What's up guys, Josh from Strength Side. This is a follow along upper body stretching routine. I tried to keep this to as minimal equipment as possible, but you are going to need a doorway, which shouldn't be too hard to find, and a broomstick or something like a broomstick. The other thing that I want to say is that anyone should be able to do this routine. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or more advanced, if you're young, old, stiff, weak, you should be able to do a variation of this routine with me here. If anything is too difficult or hurts you, then simply just don't do that one stretch and move on to the next. So this is going to be a combination of some active stretching, some passive stretching, and some loaded stretching. It's going to be really nice to open up all this upper body and upper spine, okay? So let's hop into it. So we're going to do our first stretch with that broomstick. So if you want to pause the video and grab it, you can do that. This is called the Lat Tri Stretch. So I'm going to use this bench right here. Now, I'm going to post on the screen, I have a tutorial video showing this stretch with some other variations. If getting down on your knees or like a bench is hard for you to find, then you can do a standing variation on a countertop, which also works as well. I'll pop that on the screen right now. I'm going to put my timer on my phone here. I'm not texting. So grab your broomstick. You're going to grab it underhand like this, okay? Now we want the hands to be outside of the elbows, okay? That's gonna put our shoulders into a little bit of external rotation. So I just, grab that broom a little bit outside of the elbows, and then you're gonna place your elbows onto your surface here. And from here, the goal of the stretch is to move the chest downwards while my elbows are obviously being propped up by the bench here. So my elbows are staying up while my chest is moving down like so. I'm gonna make sure that I stiffen up my core, squeeze my butt so I don't go into a bunch of lower back extension here. So I do this. That means that all this stretch is gonna be coming from the upper spine, right? So we're gonna be stretching the lats, the triceps, and getting kind of into that thoracic spine. So let's put a minute on the clock, start, and we're off. So make sure to breathe here. Now for some of you guys, it's gonna look more like this probably because you're stiff in that upper spine, and that's fine, but our goal is to just let that chest drop down over time, right? Letting things open up, letting things relax. But we're also putting force downwards, which makes this a little bit more loaded because our body weight is driving us down. These muscles are being stretched, but they're also having to support us as well. Now, if you guys are a little bit more advanced, feel free to extend the hips here, like so. Now I have to really tighten things up, and the stretch becomes much more loaded. All right, that is a minute. Okay, so we're done with that, done with the broomstick. Lat Tri Stretch, a success. Now we're gonna move into lounge chair stretch, okay? So lounge chair, so we just stretched some shoulder flexion here. Now we're gonna be moving into stretching shoulder extension, which is the arm coming behind the body. A lot of the time people don't stretch this. This is gonna really help open up that front of the shoulder, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're going to start in kind of a seated position like so, and you're gonna put your hands down right behind your hips here, okay? Now what I want you to do is bend the knees, put the feet into the ground. You're going to straighten up your spine as much as you can. And from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to lift my hips, and I'm gonna rock the hips forward towards the heels, and then I'm gonna bring them back to the start, okay? Sorry, my microphone fell out. Let me tuck this back in. Now, something that you can play with here is your hand position, okay? So you can either have the fingers pointing back or the fingers pointing forward. This is just gonna change a little bit of the position of the elbow and the shoulder here, okay? So feel free to play with both. I recommend starting with the fingers back. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 10 reps of this, okay? So let's get set. I'm gonna straighten up my spine. I'm gonna just pull the shoulders back slightly. I don't want you to really like jam into shoulder blade retraction too much, but a little bit of chest up, pinning the shoulders back. We lift the hips, we rock forward, and then we're back, okay? Only go as far as feels comfortable for you in the beginning. Get kind of used to what's going on here, and then you can start pushing it a little bit more towards the end of the set here. That's 3. We always just kind of want to work right into where we're a little bit out of the comfort zone, and then we can come right back. That's what I love about the loaded stretching, is we push into, oh, that's pretty intense right there, and then I can come right back out of it and be safe again here. And we're just kind of cueing to our body to start to be able to feel comfortable in these more extreme ranges of motion, right? Here, keeping that chest up, keeping that spine up. I've kind of lost track. I'm gonna say that's 8, 9. So on this last one, we're gonna hold in this stretched position, okay? Here. Now, if this is really, really intense for you, I'd go ahead and set the hips down. If you want this to be more active, you can keep your hips up. Those back of the shoulders should feel a little bit of burning, and the front of the shoulder should feel quite a bit of stretch. Also in the biceps as well, keeping those elbows nice and straight here. We're holding. Let's take a few more deep breaths. Okay, and we'll come out of that. All right, lounge chair stretch, shoulder extension. My shoulders are feeling worked in the back, and in the front, they're feeling a little worked as well, but kind of that stretched open feeling. So you can just kind of feel your body, feel how your spine's moving. Just from doing those first 2 stretches, you should kind of feel a little bit more open in the spine there. Now next, we're gonna be stretching into some thoracic flexion here of the spine, okay? So thoracic flexion is gonna be this way, and we're gonna be stretching a lot of the muscles on the back side. The lats, the traps, the rhomboids. So this is a combination that I like to use here. So follow along with me. If the second part of the combination is too challenging, then just stay in the first part, okay? So this first part is gonna be in a quadruped position, like so. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to round my back as much as I can. So I call this a belly lift. This is like cat from yoga. And once I get to kind of the rounded spine position, I want to even push into that more, okay? Most of the time you can get a little bit more range of motion. So I'm curling everything. I'm tucking my tailbone. I'm tucking my chin, and I'm really protracting my shoulder blades to get as much rounding here as I can. Now here's the second part. I want you to try to maintain this rounding. Notice I dig my toes into the ground. I'm maintaining the rounding. I bring my feet up, and now I'm automatically into this pike position here, okay? This is obviously going to be a lot on the hamstrings as well, but I'm maintaining all that flexion through my spine, and now I have a little bit more gravity pulling me down here, okay? Still trying to protract my shoulder blades and just let the shoulders kind of be dragged downwards in that flexed position. And we're going to be really stretching out the lats, the traps here, the rhomboids, as well as a lot of the spinal muscles as well. So we can breathe. You can even pull yourself down if you can. Like I said, this is going to be intense, so if your hamstrings are really limiting you here, it's okay to bend your knees a bit as well. This is more about getting that upper back stretching, right? Okay, I have no idea how long that has been, but it feels like a good amount of time. And once again, if that is too difficult for you, getting in that pike position, you just stay right here in the quadruped, okay? All right, guys, so those are the first 3 exercises. For the next 2, we're gonna need the doorway. I will meet you there. Okay, we found our doorway. Now this first stretch, really the 4th stretch, is going to be a doorway pec stretch, okay? So we get this doorway. I want you to take your forearm, keep it vertical, and you're gonna place it right there on the door. So right now, my shoulder is just even with my elbow here. What I'm gonna do though, is I'm gonna take a small step this way out in front of the doorway. And then this is where the stretch comes in. I'm going to slightly move my shoulder forward like this. And it's almost like I'm moving forward and then away from that elbow that I'm stretching, the shoulder that I'm stretching here. And we're actually just gonna do tiny reps here, which makes this stretch a little bit more active. Boom. Now with my shoulder, I'm trying to cue the shoulder blade to stay down, and I want to try to get my shoulder to kind of be an external rotation here. So I'm kind of trying to rotate this way, right? So the shoulder blade goes down and this shoulder kind of externally rotates, and then I move forward and then I pull myself back. So the shoulder stays super active here. I'm asking it to stretch and release, and then I'm using it to pull me back here. So let's do 10. 2. I also put my hand right here to just make sure that my rib cage stays stable here, and then I'm not arching or flaring up or anything. Okay, here. 5. 9, and then you guessed it, we're gonna hold on this last one. I'm just gonna take one more deep breath. Okay. One shoulder down. Let's hop into the next one now. So same thing. Elbow goes right on that doorway. I'm gonna step out slightly. Now, you can play around with, you guys probably can't see my legs too much. I'm stepping out with this inside leg to the shoulder. You can also do the other one. You can play around with that to see what you feel works better for you. So let's start here. Shoulders even with the elbow, and then I'm going to push at this diagonal here. I'm pulling my shoulder down and back, letting this open up, the chest in the front of the shoulder, and then actively pulling myself back. 3. 9, one more. Hold here. Okay, cool. 4 stretches down. This last stretch is pretty simple. It's called I call it a doorway hang, or it's like a Y hang. But you're gonna grab your doorway here. You're gonna put your arms up like so. So let me show you outside the doorway. Up like so. So I'm kind of in this Y right here, right? Keeping my elbows straight, and start with your feet pretty close, just right behind the doorway. And then what you're gonna do is you're just going to let your weight fall forward, okay? So the chest is coming forward and my arms are being stretched backwards, right? That's the force that's going on here. Breathe. Now, very important in this stretch that as my arms are being pulled back, I'm not doing this, so I'm keeping the rib cage down. I'm keeping tension in my core here, right? And let me just show you guys a view from the back. Just like so, letting gravity pull me forward, okay? So, sorry, had to explain a little bit more there. Let's start. Why don't we do, with this stretch, it's kind of intense, so I don't like to go too long. We'll do about 30 seconds here. Now, obviously, maybe not obviously, stepping your feet backwards is gonna make this more intense. So if you're feeling like you want more of a stretch, just slightly move the feet backwards and more of your weight's gonna be falling forward. About 5 more seconds here. Okay. Okay, guys, that's the routine. 5 basic stretches there. We're pretty much covering everything though. You should be feeling pretty loose, pretty good right now. And if you want to repeat that another time through, even 3 times through, be really, really good for making those mobility and flexibility gains. Guys, if you enjoyed this, really appreciate you liking the video. If you want to comment below, let me know if you've tried any of these stretches, if any of these stretches are like, whoo, that one was really intense, I can't wait to spend more time with it. Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate all you guys. Subscribe to Strength Side. As always, I'll see you in the next one.